What's up, y'all? All right. I hope you have some coffee or tea. I hope you're inside and cozy because today we're gonna do some online window shopping. I call these my anti-haul and wish list videos, where basically I just look at the makeup I have sitting in my cart online, usually Ulta and Sephora, whether or not I'm thinking about buying them, and then maybe some other new launches in the makeup world that I'm like, do we really need this? And so it gets added to my anti-haul list. I've been doing these for like a year now, maybe longer. I have a whole playlist if you want to binge them after this, so I will link the playlist below. And of course, my coffee today. I'm obsessed with this mug. If you love The Office, this was sent to me from my brother and sister-in-law for my birthday, and it's like every little thing from The Office you could ever imagine. They got it from Kelly Elizabeth Designs, at least that's what the packaging said. And I was looking at her Instagram page, and she has like Schitt's Creek, she has Friends, she has Gilmore Girls, like everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I love this so much. So thank you, brother and sister-in-law. I can't shut up about it. And another thing I have been loving that I can't shut up about are these glasses. You see me wearing them in Instagram stories all the time. And you guys, I get more questions about the glasses I'm wearing than I do anything else, like ever. These are from Warby Parker, and this portion of the video is very kindly sponsored by Warby Parker. I've been wearing Warby Parker glasses I think exclusively for like 2 years. I have 2 pair and I love them. I get so many questions about them. So if you've never heard of Warby Parker, it is vision care offered online and in stores. They offer eyeglasses, sunglasses, eye exams, even contact lenses. You can get blue light lenses, you can get progressive lenses. They kind of offer it all. And their glasses start at $95, including their prescription lenses. So to get started, you take a really quick quiz on Warby Parker's site, asking questions about your preferences, your face shape, etc. And they will recommend glasses that they think you might like based on your answers. And the best part is that you can order a home try-on completely free, where you get to pick out 5 frames that you want to actually try on at home. And so I've got my new home try-on today. I wanted to try out a bunch of just different styles. I love how high quality their frames are, but also how many different types of styles they offer. So the glasses I'm currently wearing that I have been loving for the past like 6 or 7 months is the style Esme. I just love that they're a little bit larger, and so even though I have a little bit more of a rounded face, I feel like it balances it out nicely, and they're just so cute. So for these, I have my prescription in them, and I also got the blue light filter in these lenses. My original pair I've had forever is this style Vaughan, and these are just a little bit smaller, and these actually I don't have a prescription in, I just have the blue light lens in. So when I'm wearing my contacts, I can toss these on with them when I'm editing and at the computer, and it's perfect. But these Esme ones are the ones that my husband thinks I look really cute in, so. So if you want to try Warby Parker's free home try-on program like I did, you can order 5 pairs of glasses to try on at home for free. There is no obligation to buy. It ships free and even includes a free prepaid shipping label to send them back. So try 5 pairs of glasses for free at home by visiting warbyparker.com/Jessica Braun. I will have a clickable link right at the top of the description box. You can't miss it. Guys, I love these glasses. You see me wear them all the time for a reason. My husband now has Warby Parker glasses. He loves them. So I'm telling you, if you need new glasses, you will absolutely love Warby Parker. Okay, so diving into some online window shopping. Let me pull up my tabs here. I was going crazy this morning on Sephora and Ulta's site, and there's some very exciting launches, and most of the things I found were from the drugstore. This time of year, the drugstore brands seem to be pumping out so many new lines and new collections and new launches. So that's what most of what we're gonna talk about today is, but I do definitely have some high-end things we'll talk about. Let's start with the things I'm kind of thinking about buying. Does anyone else have a Tervis water bottle that if you get even the tiniest amount of water in the lip, like when you're filling it, it will just dump water all over you? I cannot figure it out. It's the weirdest thing. And somehow, like, even when you think, oh, all the water's gone, continually little bits of water fall out. Let's talk about Wet n Wild for a hot sec, because listen, they launched a ton of new stuff, and I literally have so much of it sitting in my Ulta cart because I'm like, I absolutely must try all of this because I love so much from Wet n Wild, but also it's just so much less expensive than so many other drugstore brands, and yet Wet n Wild is still pumping out pretty darn amazing products. So one of the newer things they've launched that is like top 2, there are 2 things I'm the most excited about. First one is their new Color Icon 10 pan shadow palette. So there's this particular one. called Nude Awakening. It's $5.99. And you know what? I have never been disappointed by Wet n Wild's eyeshadows ever, unless every once in a while they'll have like a limited edition one that I'm like, eh. But for the most part, anything they launch in their permanent line has been incredible. Remember they're like, oh my gosh, they're single shadows. That one in Brulee was like the best blending shadow ever. But they had like the one in Nutty. Do they still sell those? I don't even think they still do, which is a bummer. But anyway, this looks so up my alley. The only thing, like looking at it, I love the lighter colors and I always use a deeper color like in the outer corner, you know? But they have a lot of deeper colors in here, which for me, I have a feeling that would be the part of the palette I wouldn't use very much. But nonetheless, I am very excited to try this. It looks like a mix of matte and shimmers and again, neutral palette. Now, they do have a couple of other palettes they launched that have different colors. So this is just the one I'm drawn to naturally. All right, the next thing I'm really excited about from Wet n Wild is their new Bare Focus Tinted Hydrator. Listen, this sounds right up my alley because it's hydrating. I have pretty normal but sometimes leaning dry skin, but on top of that, I like more of a light to medium coverage, and this gives, it says, buildable sheer to medium, where did it say? Yeah, sheer to medium coverage with a semi-matte finish, adds a little bit of a glow, but it also says it's oil-free and it has hyaluronic acid and squalane, which I think is so cool. Those are so good for hydration as far as I understand it. And so the two shades, it's only $5.99. I'm adding fair to the cart, but I'm also adding light medium. There used to be, and I'm pretty sure it's from Wet n Wild, this like kind of like hard, but this hard squeezy tube they used to sell that was like $4. And I remember when I was first starting to do my makeup, I would sit on my bedroom floor and I would put it on my face, and it was like their tinted moisturizer, and I loved it. And I am so hopeful that this is similar because they haven't sold that in years. And honestly, I don't even remember exactly how it performed. It was probably 12, 13, 14 years ago, but I loved it so much, and I would just repurchase it over and over again. So I'm just kind of curious, you know. I'm sure this is different because it sounds like it's got different ingredients too, but definitely buying. That is in the cart. It is gonna be purchased. So I'm sure I'm buying quite a few Wet n Wild things, so I'm sure I'll do a new from Wet n Wild video here on my channel in the next week or two. I have done a new from Physicians Formula video. I just did that one. I can link below. And I also just did a new e.l.f. makeup video. So here's one from CoverGirl. It's their Simply Ageless Instant Wrinkle Blurring Pressed Powder. It's $17.49. What the heck is CoverGirl thinking? That's like $20, which that is like, you might as well be being sold at Sephora. You might as well be a like medium high-end brand, because a medium-end brand, that should be a thing. Like drugstore, high-end, and then there should be like medium-end. That is a very high price point. And it says it's got hyaluronic and vitamin C complex. So supposedly there's like some skincare in the powder, but come on, y'all. It's a powder from CoverGirl. So I still want to try it though. The way I was thinking I would use it would be on my under eye. I love a good blurring pressed powder for an under eye powder. My favorite has been the No7 one for a super long time, but that one is like $12.99 and is amazing, and I would pay $12.99. This one better be freaking stellar for $17.49. Oh, and that reminds me, a little PSA, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish Powder that I love, that's just like the No7. It's really good for blurring the under eye with powder. Well, they now sell a mini version on Sephora for 25 bucks. So see, that's the thing. You can pay $18 for this, and if you're just using on your under eye, it takes forever to go through a powder that way. So you can pay a little bit more and get the mini Charlotte Tilbury one and get to try that. And again, you're not going to use very much. So I'm just saying. Okay, so Revlon launched, I'm all about like foundation and base products. So we're going to be talking about quite a few, but they launched their Colorstay Light Cover Liquid Foundation. It's $13.99. Based on the description, it kind of makes me think of the NARS foundation, that new one that I do like. It's very full coverage. I don't know that this is meant to be that full coverage. It looks like it's more of a liquidy fluid foundation, which reminds me of the NARS. The packaging reminds me of the NARS. So I'll have to test it out. I always do dupes videos, and so I'm sure if it is anywhere close, I will mention it in a future dupes video. But it also says it boosts skin's hydration levels, and it's got 12-hour long-lasting finish, which again, the NARS one said it is. I've tried it, and that one lasts a very long time. So, So this one, it's in my cart. I probably will buy and test out and see if it is a dupe for that. Now, Revlon also has something that I really, really hope is similar to another Revlon product I've loved, which is their like Rose Glow face oil or something like that. I've talked about it recently, but the packaging is awful. You can't get it out of it because it's a little medicine dropper bottle and the dropper doesn't work, and it's not a bottle that you can easily get the product out of. So this seems to be from their same line, the Rose Glow line, but it's their face gloss. And I think it's meant to be like a primer. It's got glycerin, olive oil extract, superfruit complex. But yeah, it says it's a multi-use face gloss that primes, hydrates for 24 hours, and luminizes skin. That's my kind of primer. That's what I like to put on. And so I'm curious to try it. It says you could wear it alone, just like on a day that you just want that extra glow. The thing to keep in mind, of course, is that this doesn't have SPF. So if I'm gonna wear it alone, I'm gonna have to also wear an SPF, and a lot of times I just like to use an SPF that already has like a glowy finish. I gotta put my foot in my mouth because I did a video a while ago talking about brands that are like kind of dying, and that was a while ago. I wonder how that video has aged because I'm pretty sure I mentioned Revlon as a dying brand, and well, they're proving me wrong. All right, so Wet n Wild, going back to that, also has new Color Icon 5-pan shadow palettes. They're $3.99. They have two different ones I've got my eye on. So the one that they redid is Walking on Eggshells. This is the third time they've redone it. There's like the original one that I grew up on that was like the 3 colors, just like one on top of the other. So this is the one that they had that was like the precursor to this one where it was 4 shades. They added this like kind of more light medium brown to blend with. This one looks like it has all of these colors, or at least very similar, and then a much, much deeper brownish color, which I love, again, because you could use it as a liner, like a powder liner. You can use it on the outer corner. So I'm actually pretty excited because that was the only thing this was really missing. And of course, the format of these reminds me very much of the e.l.f. bite-sized quads, which I love. My favorite, it's actually in my bathroom, is the one in rose water, but I also really like cream and sugar. Anyway, so that one, Walking on Eggshells, really, really eyeing. And then, oh, there's a cute little doggy walking by, just on a walk, just trotting. I love dogs. So this other one is similar, but a little different, called Camo-flaunt. And this one has these really pretty shimmers in it. And it has this really unique kind of deep, kind of pinky gray, silver color. I don't even know what to call it, but it looks just so unique. So that one I'm definitely gonna buy because I just want it. Okay, Wet n Wild has this Impossible primer, and it's $6.99. And here's, I of course saw the name Impossible, and I was like, let me see a little bit more about this. And it says, why impossible? They know that's the question we're all asking ourselves. It's the first of its kind silicone-free primer that turns imagination into innovation. I feel like Disney wrote this, with breakthrough performance and benefits. Mattifying and hydrating? Yes. And let's say it one more time for the people in the back. This breakthrough silicone-free formula features the silky, seamless application traditionally achieved with silicones, but it helps to simultaneously mattify and moisturize skin, blur the appearance of pores. Geez. It's got skin-loving ingredients like gooseberry and juju blossom extract, which is a natural brightener, blah, blah, blah. Okay, wow. So, gotta try it, right? Like, I absolutely must try this. All right, let's talk about a couple Sephora things on my wish list, just a few, and then we'll get into the things I am not planning on buying. So have you guys tried the Fenty Beauty new powder foundation? It's from their Pro Filter line. It is $36. They have a gajillion shades, which is what Fenty does so well. I love powder foundation, y'all. It's my favorite thing, like when I'm using a BB cream or a tinted moisturizer and I just want to set it really fast and maybe I want a slight bit more coverage, I almost always grab a powder foundation because it does that for me. It'll mattify a bit, but it'll add a little bit more coverage, especially on my nose where I always need it the most. Plus, I love touching up with it throughout the day. So that's why I'm like, I'm probably gonna buy this. It gives light to full coverage because of course you can build up powder foundation as much as you want, but it also says it's got a soft matte finish. I'm into it. That one I'm definitely gonna buy. So this brand Lawless, I haven't tried much from, if anything, now that I'm saying that out loud. But this is their Forget the Filler Lip Plumper Line Smoothing Gloss. I've never had lip filler, and I have bigger lips. I don't know that that's something I would ever need. But I do have lines in my lips, and so I always tend to love plumping glosses that kind of help with that. Today I'm wearing a Buxom one because I just love what it does. Well, this one is more like a clear one, and so I'm just kind of intrigued. Of course, it's showing the before and after. Let me pop this before and after picture I'm looking at on the screen right there. Wow, right? So I'm just kind of curious about it. It's 28 bucks, which is a pretty penny to spend, but because it is more of a clear product, I feel like I could wear it over any lip color and it would do the trick. Also, of course, I could just wear it alone. So that's what I'm kind of like really thinking about. It says the little tingle is subtle. Okay, so I really think I might try that. Also, have you heard anything about this new brand, Saie, S-A-I-E? I just saw it like in the news section of Sephora. And so two of the products that kind of jumped out to me, I don't even think it says out of stock and new. So my guess is it hasn't launched yet on Sephora's site, but they have a tinted moisturizer that has SPF of 35 that I am eyeing. I like that it's in the kind of packaging I like. That's a squeezy tube style, but it's got a pump. But then they also have this Dew Balm Bouncy Marshmallow Highlighter. What a name, right? It totally sucks me in. 18 bucks, they have 3 shades. I was kind of looking at the rosy gold one. It's basically just a liquid highlighter, and I love those because you can tap it on and it looks really pretty like in your highlighty zones, but you could also mix it in with like a foundation to give it like the extra glow. So I'm eyeing it. We'll see. Now, Makeup Revolution, I'm sorry, one more for the Ulta side, has this Eye Bright concealer that looks like a dupe for the Charlotte Tilbury concealer in the same type of packaging. Now, I will say, I don't love that Charlotte Tilbury concealer. I didn't quite get the right shade when I bought it, and I don't know. I never fell in love with it, but I'm curious to try this because it's supposed to be a concealer, but it's supposed to be brightening. Revolution, man, their packaging is always pretty. It's like 10 bucks. All right, let's move into the anti-haul, folks. So, Wet n Wild has this Mega Last Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer. Here's my thing. I definitely have things to conceal, but because I know I don't need a full coverage concealer, this is one that's really low on my list interest-wise, because sometimes too much coverage can be too much when you don't need it. And I feel like I've been really working on finding that balance of, if I want to cover things up, I mean, you will cover up whatever you want to cover up, but really finding the balance for yourself and what is genuinely what you need. Because sometimes when you pile on too much, it looks like too much, right? And so you're balancing what you want to cover versus how it will look when it's super, super covered up and which you would prefer. And for me, I'd rather it look less cakey and have maybe a little bit of maybe the blue on my under eyes showing through than the opposite, where it looks super cakey. Yeah, it might look all the same color, but it just looks like weird up close. So this one, I don't know. It says it's matte, medium to full coverage, all day wear. Of course, it says it's like not noticeable. It's full coverage, but you won't notice it. It's not going to be cakey like that. I don't know. Let me know if you've tried it or if you have an interest in me trying it. All right, so this one is from Physicians Formula. It's their All-Star Palette. It's $14.99. It's pretty, like the outer packaging is cute with all this floral. And the idea is cool because it's got 6 of their like bestseller type products. It's got their new Matte Minoy Butter Bronzer, which I'm really liking. It's what I'm wearing today. Hate the smell, love the product. It has some of their highlights and powders, some of their like Happy Booster blush things. So it's got some of their bestsellers. But my thing is, are you going to use everything in there? I would use the bronzer. There's like a glowy bronzer in there I maybe would dip into. But out of the 2 highlighters, only one of them color-wise would work for me. And really neither of them. One is way too light and one is a little too dark. So I just feel like with things like that, you really have to ask yourself, are you really going to use it enough? It's a really cool idea. And bang for your buck, yeah, you're getting 6, what I'm assuming is full-size products in there. But are you going to use all of them? Would you be better off just buying one of those products or maybe even 2 of them in their regular packaging? You might pay a little bit more, although with the sale, you might not. And then you're getting 2 products you'll really use instead of 6 that you might only use 2 or 3 of. Just saying. All right, so this looks interesting to me, but I know I won't use it. So it's the Milani Skin Quench Hydrating Primer. It's $10.99. My thing is, I've realized finally, when I did my primer declutter, that a hydrating primer is not for me. And you might think, well, Jessica, you just said you have normal to dry skin. Wouldn't you want a hydrating primer? Absolutely, I do. But I don't have a place for it in my routine. And what I mean is that when I'm putting my makeup on, I'll do a little bit of skincare. So I'll usually do maybe an essence or toner, a vitamin C serum. But then I typically will go in with an SPF that provides moisture for my skin, so it's hydrating. and then maybe a glowy primer if my SPF doesn't already have a glow. So there's no place in there for a hydrating primer step. It would be so many steps before I ever get to makeup that it'd just be silly, I think. Well, I've been burned before, twice, and I shan't be burned a third time. This is the Tom Ford, you know what, any Tom Ford. I think they have 1 or 2 new like limited edition eyeshadow palettes, which I saw when I was scrolling through the news section of Sephora. And listen, these are $88. I have bought, I'm pretty sure, 2 different Tom Ford quads. And I bought one actually very recently thinking, okay, I'm gonna give it one more shot. Certainly, there's gotta be a reason people talk about Tom Ford eyeshadows. I don't get it. They have virtually no pigment. They're so expensive. So I ended up returning it because I just couldn't believe it. And it's pretty rare that I return something because given what I do, I don't think it's right for me to buy a bunch of stuff and then just return a bunch of stuff. So I rarely, very rarely return something. But if it's that awful and it was that expensive, I will. And you know what? I have never been more disappointed. This is one I just wanted to talk to you guys about. This is the Anastasia Brow Freeze Styling Wax. It's literally this clear wax, like just like in a little jar. It's $23. When I first saw it on, actually, I think I saw this on Instagram, I was like, ooh, because my understanding is that the idea is you can kind of dip your spoolie in there and then run your spoolie through your brows and it kind of holds them in place the way a brow gel would, but this is just a clear wax. I definitely like to have my brows tamed to a certain degree, and my brows are not like perfect by any means, they never are, but I don't know that I would use this enough, I guess is my thing. So even though I'm tempted, I'd much prefer to just grab, and I actually like the Anastasia Clear Brow Gel, grab that, run it through really fast. I feel like it works a little bit faster. The tool is all in one. I don't have to have my separate spoolie to dig into this. So I think it's a really neat idea, but I just don't think I need it. All right, so I've talked a lot about tinted moisturizers that I want. This is one from Urban Decay that they just launched. It's their Hydromaniac Glowy Tinted Hydrator Foundation. I'm talking myself out of this one, which is why I have it in the anti-haul portion of this video, because there's so many good, lesser priced tinted moisturizers that I've found, especially recently, and BB creams and stuff like that, that I'm like, I really don't need to spend $30 on one. And the other thing is, I've never been able to properly find a shade in the Urban Decay range for myself, ever, in any of their launches. And so I've never fallen in love with any of Urban Decay's face products. I was really trying to think back, and I cannot think of a single Urban Decay foundation or BB cream or anything that I've liked. And so I'm like, for that reason, I'm like, I probably won't be able to find a shade that works. And it's, of course, more expensive than some of the other ones I'm even more excited to try, like the Wet n Wild one. And so I'm just kind of keeping my eye on this one, but kind of pushing it to the back burner, you know? Another one I just want to ask you guys about, this is from NARS. It's their Air Matte Cream Blush. It's $30. They have like 8 different shades. It looks really pretty, and y'all know I love a good cream blush, like a lot. But the pan itself looks so small. It looks like the same size as their little NARS Soft Matte like concealer. And if that is the case, I feel like it would drive me bonkers to try to get my finger in there. And like, if you have longer nails, mine are a little bit shorter right now, but if you have longer nails, it's really hard to get into a little can like that. Or if you're trying to use a brush, your brush has to be much smaller to be able to get into it. It looks like some of the reviews are saying that the texture is really nice. It's got that moussey texture, but that it's very, very, very sheer. But some people are saying, which I like, and I'm thinking I would probably like that too. Okay, looking at the video, it looks a little bit bigger than the concealer, but it's still not super big, and I would just prefer a larger thing. So, but if I ever did get it, I would probably get the Orgasm shade just because it looks like glowy and pretty, but they have some berry shades and stuff, so I'm not gonna buy this right now. I have too many cream blushes I love, and again, a lot of them are less expensive. So that is everything I wanted to chat about today. There were so many others. With these videos, and I feel like I say this in every video too, but with these videos, I end up with like 45 tabs open of different products, and I end up usually cutting it in half because I could talk about this for hours. But I do this pretty much every month. If you want to see my playlist, I will link it below. You can binge some more of them. And again, if you want to try out Warby Parker and order 5 frames to try on at home, you can use the link in the description box, which is warbyparker.com/Jessica Braun, to take the quiz and get started. Thank you so much, Warby Parker, for sponsoring a portion of this video. And I hope that you'll subscribe if you do enjoy this style of video. I upload 3 times a week. I'd love to have you join our little Jamly family. I have a hate-love relationship with that phrase. But I keep saying it, don't I? Anyway, I'd love to hang out with you on my Instagram as well. It is at It's Jessica Braun, and I'll see you guys in my next one. Bye.